I guess welcome everyone to those who've attended and dialed in so far. We'll make a slow start, and I'm sure more people will join as the time progresses. So, as I said, welcome to today's webinar, where you're going to be hearing from HSBC as to how they're using ServiceNow Impact to scale the use of the platform. I'm Andrew Millard, as you can see there, and I'm the person accountable for the delivery of Impact for UK and I. And my experience that's relevant to today's call is that till the end of Q1, I was part of working with HSBC on their journey. And Mark, do you want a brief introduction from yourself?
Fantastic. Thanks, Andrew. So Mark Essler, I'm the platform owner for our ServiceNow platform within IT, within HSBC. I've been working with Andrew and the team very closely over the last 18 months, nearly 2 years on our ServiceNow journey.
Thanks, Mark. And just for those on the call, so what you can look forward to in today's call, I've got a bit of upfront housekeeping before and a few bits of content to cover before handing over to Mark. And so what I'm going to cover is we've got a safe harbor notice, few pieces of housekeeping. We have a poll to engage yourselves and get your view on a question that we have. I'll do a brief overview of the Impact product for those who maybe haven't purchased it or have any experience of Impact. And then finally, just an introduction to what Mark will cover, and then we'll hand over to Mark and get stuck into today's session. So our safe harbor notice, this presentation may contain forward-looking statements that reflect the current beliefs of ServiceNow and are based on current information that's available. These forward-looking statements should not be relied upon in making any purchasing decisions. With safe harbor out the way, just 4 pieces of housekeeping. We'd love to encourage you to ask questions. So hopefully you can see in your Zoom bar that there's a Q&A function, a Q&A button. Please do, as the presentation goes, log your questions in there. We've provided sufficient time at the end just to be able to, having the privilege of Mark with us, for you to ask your questions firsthand to Mark. The session will be recorded and available on the ServiceNow community. Feel free to head over to the Impact Product Hub on the community to engage with experts, ask questions, see the latest innovations, and just find out about any other events that may be up and coming. And then lastly, please look out for the survey following the session. We'd love to hear your thoughts on how you found today. But before we get started, we've got a poll and a question for you. So hopefully the team supporting on the call can kick that off and you're able to respond to that. I see nobody's going for the gut feeling. We have our first person is going for gut feeling. Mikey, you've got your hand raised. I don't know do you want to just. I think you can probably be on mute if you want to put your question in the chat, or was that the ability to vote? I'm watching, so I guess we're halfway through people having sort of answered, and I guess this interesting balance of a number of people with formal metrics and dashboards, manually generated reports. But I think what we're seeing at the moment is that there aren't that many tracking mechanisms in place, and hopefully we can look to cover some of that off during today's webinar. I see responses have slowed. So we probably stop there on the poll. Mark, I don't know if you have any reflections on what you're seeing coming through.
Yeah, I mean, great honesty there, I think, from everybody, especially the person who responded with gut feel. There's probably a few more in there that use gut feel. But I think overarching there, we can see a lot of people don't have good tracking mechanisms in place. And I think having that openness and honesty with everybody, then hopefully we can cover a little bit of that off later on in today's presentation.
Yeah, and as Mark says, thank you to the one person who was honest, yeah, interesting results. So moving on to I'm going to do a brief overview of the Impact product, as I said, for those who maybe haven't had exposure to it, overview of the session, and we'll hand over to Mark and get started. So as we know, it's well known that 3/4 of SaaS investments fail to deliver a return on investment. And that's sort of the why behind ServiceNow Impact. It was designed to accelerate the value our customers realize on their investments in the Now platform by providing them with tools, guidance, and insights to meet their desired outcomes. So ServiceNow Impact is our value acceleration product. It's built on the Now platform. It combines predictive software with human ingenuity to keep our customers' platforms healthy and speed your time to value. It offers personalized insights and recommendations, value tracking and industry benchmarks, best practices content, learning, and premium technical support. And all of this centralized in a digital product that's continually iterated for you. And one of the core components of Impact that we certainly see a lot of our customers valuing is Instance Observer, which is an observability tool that arms our customers with rich data and insights on their platform performance. So that's a brief overview of the product. We will come in at the end. We would have loved to have had the time to sort of demonstrate the product, the digital product, but we will touch on that at the end if there are anybody who's interested in having a look at that digital product. So in Mark's presentation today, we're going to look to cover 4 things. First of all, Mark's going to share with us some information about HSBC, their corporate strategy, how their corporate strategy is underpinned by the technology strategy, and then in turn, the role that ServiceNow plays in that technology strategy. We'll hear about HSBC by numbers, and these will set the context for the scale and complexity of what we were looking to do with the ServiceNow platform, and ultimately why it was critical for HSBC to rapidly scale and amplify their platform team. Mark will briefly talk about some of the key capabilities that HSBC drew on from Impact, and then Mark's going to close out with the key things that Impact delivered for HSBC, and Mark's kindly come forward and in this, as Mark shared about transparency, we'll hear Mark's advice for fellow sponsors, platform owners, and anybody else implementing ServiceNow. So Mark, over to you.
Thanks, Andrew. So yeah, before we get into the detail, a little bit of context about HSBC and why we're here. So our purpose is to open up a world of opportunity. And then underneath that, we've got 4 key business priorities. So focusing on our strengths. To achieve our ambition, we're focusing on the areas where we've got distinctive capabilities. Digitizing at scale. So as people lead increasingly digital lives, this pillar of our strategy outlines how we're delivering faster, easier, and more secure digital banking for our customers. There's then energize for growth. So inspiring a dynamic culture where the best want to work, encouraging an inclusive culture, fostering diversity, helping colleagues to develop future-ready skills and be a simpler, more agile and effective organization. And then finally, there's net zero, where we want to do more than simply play our part in the transition to a more sustainable world. We want to help our customers get there. Technology is, not surprisingly, a key enabler for these pillars, and we've got a 5-year strategy that's made up of 4 streams. Speed is where we're reducing the time from idea generation to reality. Scale is then where we're leveraging our size and our global reach to better serve our customers by harnessing the power of cloud. We've then got resilience, where we're making our services more secure and more reliable through the use of automation. And then finally, people. We're ensuring that we've got the right people in the right places, equipped with the skills and the technology for the future. And it's resilience where ServiceNow has helped us through the IT service management and the business continuity management transformations. What's really pushed things forward there is the resilience agenda. We're now really starting to join the business continuity and the operational resilience and the IT operations processes together in the same place in ServiceNow. This supports our strategic outcomes within our technology strategy. With the ServiceNow platform, we're really focusing on customer value rather than having to join discrete solutions together. HSBC is at the forefront of innovation, and we invest significantly in technology each year. And as we do this, we look to partner with our most strategic vendors. And we really need a partnership where through both the good times and the tough ones, we're together. And it's often in those times of challenge that you really learn the most about each other and where really strong relationships begin. At the moment, we're really at the start of our strategic journey with ServiceNow, although it's been in the organization for a number of years. In 2022, our IT service management transformation program was challenged in a number of areas which required HSBC, our implementation partner, and also ServiceNow to work closely together. ServiceNow really understood the specific business challenges that we had and mobilized internally to work with us on an appropriate path through. Specifically, they didn't just hear what we were saying, but they listened, they also understood and responded to us. So Andrew, if we move to the next slide, please, and we'll just have a look at HSBC by numbers to give a bit of a sense of scale. So we've got 40 million customers, and that's across 64 countries and territories, and they're served by 250,000 employees across 6,000 locations. And then within global IT, we've got an IT estate of about 8,500 services, providing 2.7 billion minutes of service and handling 2 trillion transaction customers each year. And on average, we make one IT change every second, and we respond to either an incident, a request, or an alert every 6 seconds. So hopefully that sets a little bit of the context as to the environment that we're operating within. So if we move to the next slide, thanks, Andrew. So where does ServiceNow and Impact fit in with this? ServiceNow has got a critical role within our resilience agenda. It's critical for running the business, so supporting our IT operations and our business continuity management capability, but it's also pivotal to our operational resilience journey. So it's really critical for us. We really needed to amplify our expertise so that we could rapidly scale and also industrialize our ability to run, build, and maintain on the platform. And that was where Impact fitted in for us. So if we move to the next slide, please. So to do that rapid scaling and amplification of our expertise, we found that there were specific areas of impact that had the greatest benefit for us. So we started with looking at the future state design of the platform team and working out how to get there from where we were. And that's often referred to as the center of excellence and innovation. Once we had that organizational design, we then needed some personalized training paths, as well as some one-to-one coaching from the Impact squad for some key platform roles. And this coaching has really evolved over time, starting with data, but then moving on to platform architecture, and then most recently, technology roadmaps and strategic direction. We supported this with some timely access to subject matter resources and also knowledge from the Impact squad, but also from other areas within ServiceNow itself. In reality, you don't really know what you don't know. So having those experts on hand to guide us was crucial for me. And then the final piece of the jigsaw was the implementation of technical governance and also prescriptive guidance for key technical designs within the organization. This has really helped us form a solid foundation, and then we've built upon that within the platform. So if we move to the next slide, please. So the specifics for us with Impact, as I mentioned earlier, then the ITSM transformation program faced a number of challenges, one of which was a 2-family release upgrade that we had to do at a key point in the program. And Impact really helped us find a path through it. The squad ensured that we had clarity on the prioritized risks and issues in that period, the right solutions or mitigating actions. And quite often we tapped into the expert connect sessions, and then we held each other to account. So it was a true partnership and true two-way. what this meant was that we managed to deliver the ITSM program on time for our 40,000 IT users. And because we've got that augmented capability for our platform team, then no sooner had we completed that go live and the user migrations, then we started planning to deploy further ITSM critical apps onto the platform. So if I had 3 takeaways and could talk to my previous self about the journey that we've been on, then I'd start with focusing on what your strategic objectives were, especially during major transformation programs. I mean, coming back to the poll and the reality of where other organizations are and using gut feel, that was kind of where we were when we started off. And we didn't do very much of a view of our strategic objectives outside of the program in year 1. So we're really honing in on that value management far more now and working with the Impact Squad on that. For large organizations, and especially enterprise class organizations, impact really should be a mandatory for us, especially for those organizations who are early in their deployment, but also for those who've got higher levels of maturity. For me, it's a massive help to have that lever for success. And then finally, and this was kind of one of the critical ones, especially with the two-way relationship that we've got, is either follow ServiceNow's advice or actively choose not to follow it. Don't leave it hanging. We've been really good between HSBC and ServiceNow with making sure that we're actively choosing to either invest in risk mitigation or maturity improvement, or putting it in the backlog and saying it's something that we don't want to address at a point in time. But the worst possible thing you could do is just leave it hanging and leave it so that it's not in the backlog and it's not getting reflected anywhere. So impact for me, absolutely critical to our success during our journey. And super helpful for us in building my platform squad up.
No, thanks, Mark. And so, as I said, just to wrap up, if there's anything, you can find today's recording on the ServiceNow community. So please do go and take a look. And I see our team have shared the link to that. Second along, please do visit servicenow.com/impact if there's anything more that you would like to learn. And if you do want to have a demo and play with yourself with a digital product, servicenow.com/impact/accelerate. But most of that, you can all find links in the community or get in touch. So thanks for all of those of you who've joined. It's been great to have you and look forward to hopefully meeting you at some point. Thanks very much, everyone.